Here we are again. Another installment of my book. At least made it this far. What else are we going to talk about today? To be honest. I'll be honest with you, I've been preoccupied lately. I've done something that made me realize who I am. It made me happy and proud to be who I am. But that's for another story for another day. The story we have right now is about my older self. And actually, right in front of me, I have blocks to play Jenga by myself. You may or may see it in the if it gets high enough that it probably won't, but it's okay. I'm playing by myself. Because now we're going to talk about, well, last time I talked, I was talking about my dad and how he died and this and that. And that was in chapter, I'm actually about to look into it right now. It was in The Conqueror, not 2014. We were in chapter 16. Now we'll be moving on to chapter 17. But before I start, I got a secret. I know, right? Got a secret. What tells the secret? I ain't tell nobody. You get to figure out on your own terms. But in the meantime, I'm gonna dig right on in with this chapter installment, and it is as follows. Chapter 17: The Loss of Brian Joseph Argo. Now this is about as lengthy as when his dad died. And this is when things kind of turn into more of a darker story, not a lighter one. And I dropped my phone. Well, stupid of me. Well, we'll leave it there for the side for now. But we'll press on with chapter 17. The loss of Brian was when his father was gone, out of his life. He always loved him. His dad would take care of him. His dad was the best dad that just a boy could ever ask or ever have. But thing was that his dad brought him into this world. Why Brian was gone is that he lost faith in the Lord, and he lost his dad. He took his boy down so hard that he couldn't see straight. He lost his way on life. And with the new family that he couldn't serve because he was not in the right mindset for himself. His mind was lost in wonder of when he could die next. Loss of hope was easy manipulated. Just hard to see that his man with loss of happiness, lots, lost of happiness and hope goes so easy. Just this time, the man was lost, with no father to guide him along his journey. But one man had a promise to keep him sound in mind. Jerry, an old friend of his dad and Brian's old family. Jerry kept Brian to believe there was something better, not to lose hope. Seemed easy from Jerry to Brian. But Brian believed again, but for a time. Just not all stories have easy leads into the world. The story was dark, cold, with death, not hope. But the boy who had hope started to see a better life. But lost his grandpa, hurt him too, for a time. Not much to say about that. Just Brian had 3 losses in a year, something most men cannot stomach, for the loss of loved ones so easily taken away from them. Now just anything could put him to the edge and could kill himself. But with Jerry's help, he stayed a lot longer time. Young Brian, more of a man Brian now. He lost his dad and it hurt him. Put him through a lot of stress because he always had his dad around to help him out. His dad, like most people, is very important in somebody's life. You only get one mother and one father in this life. When they are gone, it hurts. It hurts really much. And coming up on 4 years doesn't make anything easier. But with guidance, it can go a long ways. Lots of guidance. I mean, Brian just wasn't thinking straight. He was lost. He had his new family. Didn't help much because he lost family. It's not like you can just live and forget where you come from so easily. And his wife didn't really help him too much. She might have gave him sex. She might have, really relayed his brain somewhat, but it doesn't really matter. When you lose a loved one, it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, it leaves a scar. It leaves a scar so big, it's just irreplaceable to fix. A scar like that does take a lot of healing. And the young you are when you lose somebody, it's a bit harder, to say the least. Because when you're young, you don't expect to lose a loved one so easily like that. You don't really expect it. What you do expect is that you learn from deaths of grandparents and so forth that it should make life a little bit easier for you. Because your grandparents are the ones that go first, right? Typically. Old age, health. Not necessarily. His dad had cancer all over his body. Didn't make things easier for him. He suffered greatly about it. Just one thing you can't fix that you can try, but it's not going to get you anywhere. But it's plus the older you get from a younger age, you still remember. The older you are, you understand. You understand things a bit more in your 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. But when you're in your teens, 20s, it leaves scars on a person so great that you can't forget. You know, shit. I mean, it's something you can't just wake up one day and think everything's gonna be okay. It don't work that way. It really doesn't. Whoever told you that was a damn fool, to be honest. But I don't want to keep talking about a Sab story. Let's see what happens when things get a little bit better, somewhat. But this is chapter 18, The Family War. This was a war by meaning, but was not the war you think. This be short, the only one to talk about it is Brian. But his tongue doesn't mention it to me at all. But to me, this chapter's a bit quiet. I tried to ask him about it, but he wouldn't say anything to this fact. So I'm sorry that he didn't want to ask about this. There was something going on with the family of the Argos that his name is after. It was we could say it was a bit on the emotional side. But as I said right there, can't really talk about it. Maybe when I finish this book, I can ask Brian myself and see what type of answer I get. Because I'm writing this book for him, so everybody knows about him. Like I said, now y'all don't know me. Some of you do. But some of you don't know me. But we'll figure out who I am later in these chapters to follow. And we press on. Chapter 19. This is a dark chapter. Chapter 19, the start of 2017 / the Black Summer. And this is what happened about 2 years ago when I've been recording this. About 2 years ago this has happened. But we'll talk about it. This chapter is dark and drove Brian into madness. This was the beginning of a new home, a new life, a new place to live. Brian won his war against his own family. But then to start this life was something we all wish we had in our life. Brian had a home to give to his family. A home suited all their needs. But this was all lost too. Days living in the home were great. The wife, the child of his. a home to keep them safe as he worked day and night for his family. But at what price? He wasn't happy 3 months into his new life. Brian forgot many things with his wife about their lives. Brian was losing a battle that would take more than himself to fix. He asked help from his brother in law and soon be close friend, but not kept himself with his wife. He was losing his new family of deception. Time was passing till Black Summer came to his own life. That's when life was not going so well with him. The Black Summer. His wife had a job. He had a job. They worked things out so someone could watch their child during the day, but his tragedy came out of a price. This would be the reason why Brian and Steffi are no more. Brian wanted to make love to his wife one night. That night is where lines were drawn with all the sand around him. Brian and Stephanie, with love they had, Brian put his wife in a uncomfortable place. She left her room to go see another man that was spending the night with him. The man was their friend. She was thinking that was the way. Instead of talking to her husband, time grew on with the other man that was there. Stephanie got closer to because of one night. Stephanie cheated on her husband Brian with the other man, the man that ruined Brian's life. But this was Brian's loss. All of love with his wife and trust. He tried to fix something hard to break that the bond, but it was broken. This news troubled Brian for divorce with his wife, but was manipulative by Stephanie, so Brian could try to fix something that was broken. Time kept on passing on, no fixes for them. Brian was always drunk, depressed, and sad that he could not fix his marriage. He was going to end his life because of it. But that idea stopped because the good Lord had a better plan for Brian. Marriage counseling. Tried but didn't work the way they both saw it. Brian just left his wife to do whatever had her happy. Brian was cheating, but she was cheating on Brian the whole time. So to this, Brian was single all over again as of when he came back from a trip to California. He was because his last grandparent died. Now Brian was sad and just lost hope of his life, losing his child and the wife to what happened on a night in June of 2017. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, where things changed for Brian's life. He wasn't the same. He lost all hope. He lost his way. He lost his faith. He was losing his new family and the life that he had made. His wife cheated on him. Brian was always drunk and depressed and sad, and no fix. It's hard, but it's the truth. The Black Summer was the worst time in his life. But now the times have changed since the Black Summer event. Things have been a much more greater risk. And we'll get to that later. Well, at the end of 2017, We come to chapter 20, the loss of the new family. There's no words to add into this chapter here. I can explain chapter 20 to the best of my knowledge. I haven't wrote it yet. I can think of that Brian was losing his family with Stephanie and Serenity, his daughter. And to what extent, I don't know. He was sad a lot, very much so. Yeah, that was the reason. Maybe the other guy intervened. I don't really know. But he lost his family. And that's basically what chapter 20 is about. Someday I'll go and re-ask Brian how his family was lost. Of the new family. So we'll go into chapter 21, and tomorrow will be a more special chapter, and it's going to be its own chapter because we're about to get all caught up with the life experiences of Brian. And this chapter right here that I'll get to tomorrow will be the most impactful chapter of his entire life and what changed him to me. But we'll get to that much later. Chapter 21, The New Hope of 2018. The New Hope of 2018 was a plan that Brian could fix his life with his wife. But they grow too far apart to fix what she did to him. So, heartbroken, Brian told her she had a week to find out if she would be with him or the other guy. Some time did pass, and she picked the other guy over Brian, then tried to fix things with Brian. So they broke up, living different lives. The point is, I will make here is that he tried to work with his wife. It's what I can remember on this. He tried to fix things. But no matter what happened, she always denied him. Stephanie became different in Brian's life. And Brian lost his best friend, his wife, to another man. And that still haunts him to this day. And he wishes that it will never happen again. To add to add on to this, you just know that Brian tried to fix his life with his wife, and he was seeing his child for a time and tried to help his ex-wife for a time. But in reality, it still wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. He tried and failed. Tried and failed. Tried and failed. So he gave up. He just gave up. Because there was no point of fixing what was already broken. But tomorrow might still be a very interesting chapter. One with love instead of hate. Chapter 22 will be the chapter of which, well, a lot of things changed. A lot of ideas of Brian's changed. But before then, he started to call himself Joseph. Before he met this woman that he truly wants to be with for the rest of his life and stay true to her. It doesn't really want to lose her. Don't matter the circumstance, he's not going to. He loves her and wants to treat her better than he can ever treat any other woman out there. But for now, these few chapters, these few chapters have been the wonders of his life. But when we get more into this, you'll understand him more. But for now, I'll let you all a good morning, afternoon, and evening. Peace.